Test the Automotive Servicing NC1 Operation Sheet 2.4-1. Testing and replacing ignition breaker and condenser. Contact points should be replaced every 10,000 miles. It's good to practice to replace the condenser at the same time. When you replace the points, you must then check and if necessary, reset the timing to specification. Bills of materials, 250 pesos for the ignition breaker, 100 pesos for the condenser. Tools, machine, materials needed. You have distributor, Phillips screwdriver, and filler gauge. Process and procedure. Remove the distributor cap. You will find out that there are two springs clips which hold it on. Insert a screwdriver between each clip and distributor case and pry them up cap. The gap then simply lifts off. Do not remove the spark plug wires the wires from the distributor cap. Remove the distributor rotor by pulling it straight up to the distributor shaft. Remove the plastic dust cover by lifting it off the distributor. Remove the old contact points. You will see that there is a screw that holds the points unit to a plate inside the distributor. Loosen and remove the screw and plug the wire from the points from the black plastic plug that it's connected to. Just pull it straight off. Process and procedure. Now withdraw the points and if they are pitted, excessively worn, replace them. If they look good, keep them as your spare for an emergency. Remove and the condenser. The condenser is that little metal can inside or outside of the distributor. There is one screw that holds the condenser on itself, and there is another which holds the plastic plug to the distributor body. Both of these screws are readily accessible. So remove them and then the little metal plug clip, and then remove the condenser and the plug from the distributor. For the reassembly, on the new condenser, find the plastic plug. You will see a groove in it that metal plug clips fit into. Fit the plug into the clip and then fit the assembly to the distributor body and start the screw. Try not to drop the screw. Once you've started the screw, go ahead and tighten it down. Next, you want to install the condenser itself. Rotate the distributor as needed. Install the new condenser with the new screw to the distributor body. Once it is done, run down the green wire to the same terminal on the ignition coil. You took the old one from, and then he should be on the negative terminal. For the reassembly number 4, now you need to install the points. First, take a little dab of grease and smear some of the distributor shaft. The proper grease should come in a little packet with your new points. Little goes along the way. Now fit the points. You will notice that the hinge end of the points, there is a protrusion that fits into the hole that make the point plate. Make sure that it is engaged properly. Then when it is, insert the hole down the screw and tighten it some, but leave it loose to provide for adjustment later. The magnetic tip screwdriver really helps with inserting the screw. Use your wrench on the alternator/generator pulley to turn down the engine over until the points are rubbing black in one on the high points of the distributor shaft and the points are fully open. Look at it straight from above and make sure that the points are on the high point and fully open. When it has been achieved, grab your filler gauge, set it in one hand, and a flat blade screwdriver in the other. You are going to adjust the gap between the points. The minimum gap is 0.16 of an inch, and the range is 0.16 of an inch to 0.20 of an inch. If in doubt, consult your manual for correct specification. Number 7, pull out the appropriate size filler gauge and slide it down to the points. Make sure that you're doing it straight on. The blade should slide through the slight resistance when the gap is correct. If it is need to be adjusted, grab your flat blade screwdriver. Look down at the plate you sit on towards the tip of the points away from the points hinge. You will see the small knobs on the plate. What you do is insert your screwdriver between those two knobs and use them to lever the points open or close, depending on your needs. It's harder to describe than it is to do so. So lever the points until the correct gap is achieved. And if you tighten down the screw, check it once more, and if it's correct, if it has changed, loosen the screw, adjust the gap, and tighten it again. For number 8, for type 4 engines, rotate the distributor cup back as close at its original position as you can. Reattach the vacuum line and plug back in the square valve if you have fuel injection. Number 9, now you need to put the distributor back together. Put the plastic dust cover on, then the rotor. Notice the distributor shaft has a cutout that fits a protrusion on the rotor. The rotor will go back to one way. Press the rotor down onto the shaft and then wiggle it a little bit, pushing down to make sure that it is seated properly. Then replace the distributor cup. It is a notch on one end as is the distributor body. So the cup will go on one way. In assembly number 10, you may wish this time to replace the distributor cup and rotor. If so, substitute the new rotor for the old one when you place it on the shaft above. Then orient your new distributor cup regarding the notch. Now transfer the spark plug wires one by one to the new distributor cup. Make sure they are fully seated in the new cup. Fit the cup to the distributor body and then re-engage the spring clips. Number 11, start the engine. It should start up just fine. Type 4 engines who had turned the distributor may find it running roughly, but it will improve on adjusting the timing. Number 12, attach your tach dwell meter according to the manufacturer's instructions. Using a digital model, attach the red or positive cable goes to the positive terminal of the coil, and the black or negative cable goes to the negative terminal of the coil. Then turn the knob to a dwell for cylinder E over reading it. It should be within the specification. Anywhere from 44 to 50 degrees of dwell is acceptable. If it is out of range, you need to go back and adjust the point gap until it is within the specification. Make sure making the point of the gap narrower increases the dwell reading, and reading or widening decreases the reading. Since the dwell is in the number of degrees of rotation during the points are closed, too narrow of a point gap can lead to burning of the points, which destroys them. And too wide of a gap can lead to misfiring under high RPM and high load conditions. Thank you very much.